Cancel her bonus. Today. My name shouldn't have been in that call. I wasn't on the invite. I wasn't copied. But the line was open just long enough for me to hear the part they didn't plan on anyone catching. 48 hours early. Someone added, low and careful. I don't want it to transfer. I froze. Headset still on. Eyes on the screen in front of me. The integration dashboard was halfway through a live sync with our buyer's system. Green checks across the board. Clean, stable. Exactly how they wanted it. The door opened without a knock. Evan Cross didn't bother closing it behind him. He dropped a single page onto my desk and tapped the top margin like he was pointing out a typo. Effective immediately. I looked at the date first, then the time, then his face. We've used you long enough. No pause, no explanation. He turned, already walking away. Like the rest had been handled somewhere else. My screen blinked, connection lost. The buyer's feed went dark. Error messages stacked faster than I could read them. I reached for the keyboard out of instinct and watched my cursor freeze. Access denied. Email locked. Internal chat gone. Outside the glass, HR stood with security. Too close, like they'd been waiting. Zara, one of them started, voice tight, rehearsed. If you'll just, I'm in the middle of something. No one moved, no one cared. The headset crackled once, then went dead. Whoever was on the other end never got an explanation. Neither did I. I stood up slowly, more to buy time than anything else. My badge didn't work when I tried to leave my office. A red light flashed, quick and final, behind me. Evan was already on his phone again, pacing, talking low. I caught one word as I walked past. The finance. That was when it landed, not the firing, the timing. They weren't just getting rid of me. They were racing something. The story you're about to hear is a fictional work created by the writing team at RevengeAITA. It is inspired by real workplace power struggles, where timing matters more than titles, and silence can be louder than threats. They escorted me out without letting me grab more than my coat. My laptop stayed behind. So did the work I'd been protecting. No one asked what I was running. No one asked what would break if I stopped. They already knew. And whatever they thought they were preventing by canceling that bonus, they were terrified it might move without them. I didn't bother unpacking when I got home. I set my bag down, opened my laptop, and pulled up the contract I hadn't looked at in years. Not the HR version, the real one. My phone buzzed. A message from Mira, one of the analysts I trained last year. They shut everything down fast. Like, scary fast, I typed back. I saw. The document loaded. Same dry language, same signatures. I scrolled past the parts everyone memorizes and landed on the part everyone ignores. Annual performance bonus, $51,000. Right under it. A paragraph that looked harmless if you didn't know what you were reading. Renewal trigger. I slowed down. The bonus wasn't just money. It was a condition, a confirmation point. Once it transferred, licensing authority renewed automatically under one name. Mine. My throat tightened. I remembered Martin Hale saying, years ago, almost offhand, "This clause isn't for you today. It's for when someone panics later." I'd nodded like I understood. I hadn't. I checked the timestamp on the cancellation request. 48 hours before the transfer. Down to the minute. That wasn't coincidence. That was intent. Evan didn't fire me because I was expendable. He fired me because he was afraid of what would move once that bonus cleared. If you've ever been cut off too fast, you know that feeling. When it's not about performance, it's about timing. And suddenly you're asking yourself why they needed you gone now. Another buzz. Different number. Missed call. I ignored it and opened my archived emails. One search term. Transfer. There it was. The notice. Already generated. Already scheduled. All they'd done was try to outrun it. I closed the laptop and sat there for a moment, letting the anger settle into something steadier, whatever they thought they were stopping. They were terrified it wouldn't wait for their permission. The first call with the buyer had been 8 months ago. I remembered because Evan showed up late and still managed to talk over everyone. "We're aligned," he'd said, leaning back like the hard part was done. "Our teams are ready to move fast." No one on their side responded to him. Every question came to me instead. How does the failover behave under simultaneous load? What happens if the encryption keys rotate mid-transaction? Who signs off on emergency patches? I answered each one without looking at Evan. I didn't need to. He wasn't listening anyway. After the call ended, he'd clapped once and smiled. Great energy. Let's keep that momentum. That was always his role. Mine was the substance. I opened the merger agreement on my laptop now, scrolling past the executive summaries and glossy language meant for investors. I went straight to the operational sections. The parts lawyers argue over when things go wrong. Key personnel continuity. I stopped. There it was. A list, short, specific. My name sat at the top, below it. Language that made my stomach tighten. If any listed individual ceased employment before integration milestones were met, the buyer retained full rights to delay, renegotiate, or exit without penalty. No drama, no threats, just leverage, spelled out cleanly. My phone lit up with a message from Aaron, one of the engineers who'd been pulled into the merger late. They're saying you won't be on the next call. Who's answering the technical side? Now I didn't respond. Evan had never asked why those questions always came to me. He'd never asked why the buyer's legal team waited for my confirmation before signing anything that mattered. He'd just assumed the deal was his. You ever notice how some people think the spotlight holds things together? Meanwhile, the real weight is being carried by someone whose name never makes the slide deck. I scrolled back up and read my name again, slowly, like it might disappear if I looked away. This wasn't about loyalty, or appreciation, or even money. Without me, the buyer didn't have to move forward at all. They could stop, sit, watch, and walk away clean. I closed the document and let that sink in. Evan hadn't just fired an employee. He'd removed the one name that kept the deal from pausing the second anyone got nervous. Did the CEO even know whose name was holding the deal together? I didn't call anyone. That surprised Mira the most. She texted twice. Then again, do you want me to loop legal Zara? They're telling people you resigned. I let the messages sit. Instead, I opened the secure folder I'd kept separate from company systems since year 3. Licensing records, custody logs, every renewal, every authorization, every signature that mattered. My name appeared where it was supposed to, dates lined up, access intact. A calm settled in, not relief, control. Later that afternoon, my phone rang again. Unknown number. Zara, this is Brent from IT. We need you to return any company storage devices. I already did. A pause. Papers shuffling. All of them. Yes. Another pause. Longer this time. Okay, he said. Unsure. We'll mark it complete. I had left one thing behind on purpose. A small encrypted drive I'd kept in my desk drawer for years. It looked important. It wasn't empty shell. No keys, no access. Just enough to make someone feel safe. That was the point. I opened my calendar, cleared. No calls, no meetings, no quick sync. I added one item and one item only. Review. My phone buzzed again. A voicemail this time. Evan's voice, clipped. Legal needs to know where the certificate is stored. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, another message came through from Aaron. They're asking if you backed anything up locally. I typed back one word, no. And then I shut the laptop. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Silence isn't doing nothing. Silence is letting people show you exactly what they assume when you stop correcting them. By evening, the questions got sloppier, less confident, people guessing instead of checking. I watched it happen without stepping in. No more explaining. No more fixing what wasn't my job anymore. They thought I was gone, out of the picture, no leverage left. That's when people stop being careful. That's when they start making mistakes. What happens when they think you're gone but you're not powerless? My phone rang just after 9. Unknown number. Seattle area code. I let it ring twice before answering. Zara Hale. The voice was calm, practiced. The kind that doesn't waste words. This is Lillian Moore, Senior Counsel for North Point Dynamics. Do you have a few minutes, North Point? The buyer. I do. A brief pause, like she was checking something off. We're reviewing our integration dependencies. There's one point we need clarity on. I waited. Who currently holds active licensing authority for the core encryption module. No small talk. No build-up. Straight to it. The authority renews upon transfer of the annual performance bonus, I replied. That transfer hasn't occurred. Silence on the line, not confusion, calculation. So as of now, the authority has not renewed under gray line systems. Another pause. Longer this time. And who holds it if renewal does not complete me? I could hear her breathing change. Papers shifting. Someone else in the room, maybe muted. I'm not alleging a breach, I added. I'm just answering your question. That won't be necessary, she said quickly. You've been very clear. She didn't ask why I'd been terminated. Didn't ask how this happened. She didn't need to. Thank you for your time, Ms. Hale. That answers it. The call ended. I stared at the phone for a second after the screen went dark. No threats, no warnings, no raised voices. Just information moving from one place to another. That's it. No arguing, no speeches. Just one question landing in the wrong place. If you've ever watched a room go quiet after the right detail comes out, you know what that pause meant. My phone buzzed again almost immediately. This time, an internal number I recognized but didn't answer. Then another, and another. I set the phone face down on the table. Whatever Lillian Moore had just confirmed, it wasn't something they could ignore. Not if they cared about timelines. Not if they cared about risk. I hadn't warned anyone. I hadn't accused anyone. I'd just told the truth, exactly once. What did they just realize that the CEO missed the phone rang hard enough to rattle the table? I didn't rush it. I didn't need to. When I answered, the sound hit first, breathing, fast, uneven. What the hell did you say to them? I waited for the rest. It came out in fragments. They're asking questions they shouldn't be asking. Legal is on my back. The board wants answers. I kept my voice flat. I answered a question. You sabotaged the deal. I pictured him pacing, phone pressed too tight against his ear. I told them to read the contract. Silence. Not the calm kind. The kind where someone realizes the floor moved. They're acting like we don't have authority, he snapped. Like the certificate isn't valid. Is it paper shuffled on his end? A chair scraped. Someone whispered in the background and got cut off. We can't find it, he admitted. It says it's not in the vault. That vault isn't mine, I said. You signed off on that. Another pause, longer. He tried a different tone. Come back. Today. We'll fix this. Title, compensation, whatever you want. I let that hang. Then, I'm not coming back. You don't understand what's at stake. I do, I said. That's why I'm not coming back. His voice dropped. If this falls apart, it's on you. No, I replied. It's on the decision to fire me before the transfer. I could hear it then, the shift, not anger anymore. Fear. You can hear it when power changes hands. It's not loud. It's that moment someone stops yelling and starts calculating how much time they have left. He tried once more. Just tell me where it is. That would require me to work there. The line went dead. I set the phone down and didn't move for a while. No victory rush, no relief. Just the certainty that whatever control he thought he had was already gone. If the deal is already unraveling, can anything stop it now? The email landed just after lunch. Subject line: formal verification request. North Point's legal team wasn't asking anymore. They wanted documentation, proof of active licensing authority. A response window measured in hours, not days. My phone started lighting up right after first, a voicemail from someone in compliance I barely knew. Then a missed call from finance. Then a text from Mira. They're saying legal never signed off on your termination. That one made me stop. Another call came through. This time I answered. Zara, it's Alan Price. A familiar voice. One of the board members who rarely spoke unless something had already gone wrong. We need to understand the sequence of events. You fired me before the transfer, I said. Without legal review. A breath on the other end. Slow. Controlled. That's what we're discovering. He didn't apologize. He didn't defend Evan either. There are questions about process. He continued. An exposure. I'm not part of the company, I said. I can't help you answer those. I know, he replied. A pause. If we'd known sooner, you did know, I said. You just didn't look. Silence. Then, quieter. Understood. The call ended without a goodbye. An alert popped up on my screen. An analyst note making the rounds: contractual uncertainty may impact near-term outlook. That phrase spread fast, faster than explanations ever do. This is the part where it gets lonely at the top. When boards stop asking who's right and start asking who's safest to lose. Another message came in from Aaron. Evan's not on the emergency call. They locked it. I didn't respond. By late afternoon, the noise shifted. Fewer accusations, more distance. People choosing their words carefully, like the ground might give way if they didn't. Evan had gone from certainty to containment in a single day. The board wasn't circling him to help. They were circling to decide. Who do institutions sacrifice when survival is on the line? The notice came through as a forwarded email, no preface, no warning. Northpoint Dynamics is terminating the proposed acquisition effective immediately. I read it once, then again. The reason followed in plain language. No legal fog, no soft phrasing. Unresolved licensing authority. That was it. 8 months of calls, demos, and late nights reduced to 4 words. My phone buzzed almost right away. Mira again. They just pulled it, fully pulled it. Another message followed before I could respond. Evan's in a closed room with the board. No one's letting him out. A third. From someone in PR I barely recognized. If reporters call you, please don't comment. I didn't plan to. The news hit public feeds within the hour. Headlines stacked fast, each one sharper than the last. Deal collapses amid internal control concerns. Executive missteps raise governance questions. They didn't mention my name. They didn't have to. A clip from a financial segment started circulating. The anchor read directly from the filing. The acquiring company cited unresolved licensing authority and internal decision-making failures. Failures, plural. My phone rang again. I let it go to voicemail. Evan's voice came through, tight and hoarse. We can still fix this. Call me. I deleted it without replying. This is the moment people think should feel loud. Instead, it's quiet. Because when things fall apart for real, there's nothing left to argue about. I sat there and watched the updates roll in. Stock dip. Analyst downgrade. A board statement promising a review. No fireworks, no shouting, just decisions locking into place. The merger wasn't paused. It wasn't delayed. It was gone. And Evan Cross wasn't being defended anymore. Silence followed him like a shadow. The same silence he'd relied on when he thought no one would question the timing. What happens to a leader when silence becomes evidence? The call came the next morning. Same area code, different tone. Zara Hale, the voice said, steady and direct. This is Lillian Moore from Northpoint. I'm calling to follow up. I didn't pretend not to know why. Our board met late last night, she continued. We're no longer pursuing the acquisition, but the underlying need hasn't changed. I waited. We want to work with you directly. There it was. No apology, no corporate fluff. Under what structure, I asked. A standalone agreement, she said. Your firm, your authority, full operational control, and the licensing contingent on full transfer confirmation, she replied without hesitation. We won't proceed otherwise. I pulled up the dashboard I'd been watching for days. The transfer was still pending, hours left, not complete. Then we wait. I said, no pushback, just a clean response. That's acceptable. She sent the draft over while we were still on the call. No clause about rehiring, no language about restoration, no mention of gray line at all. This isn't about what happened there, she added, almost carefully. It's about not repeating it. I scanned the document once. Then again, everything I'd asked for was there. Everything I hadn't was gone. I'll respond after the transfer executes, I said. We'll be ready, she replied. The line went quiet. Some offers sound like second chances. This one wasn't. It didn't ask her to go back. It asked her to move forward with the door closed behind her. The confirmation alert came through just before noon. Transfer complete, authority reassigned. I forwarded the notice to my attorney. Then I opened the contract again and signed. No celebration, no victory speech, just a choice made cleanly. I didn't need my old title back. I didn't need the office. I didn't need Evan's acknowledgement. What if winning means never returning? The notification didn't make a sound. No alert, no banner. Just a single line updating itself on the screen. Licensing authority reassigned. My name sat there alone. No asterisks, no shared access. Final. I checked the time. It had executed exactly when it was supposed to. Automatic, clean. No one to interrupt it now. My phone rang a few minutes later. This time, I answered. Zara, Alan Price said, voice careful. The board voted this morning. I didn't ask what they voted on. He told me anyway. Evan has been removed from strategic authority, effective immediately, no anger in his voice. No relief either, just procedure catching up to consequence. I'm not calling to ask you back, he added. That window closed, I know, I said. We're issuing a statement later today. Internal failure. Process review. I won't be commenting. That's understood. The call ended there. No apologies. No attempts to soften it. Notice what didn't happen. No victory lap, no public fight. Sometimes the loudest ending is when no one has anything left to argue about. I didn't post anything. I didn't return Evan's last message. I didn't forward screenshots or correct the narrative. The system already had. He'd tried to save $51,000. That was the number he fixated on. The line item he thought mattered. That choice cost him a $500 million deal. It cost him authority. It cost him the future he kept claiming as his own. I closed the laptop and sat there for a moment, letting the quiet stay quiet. I hadn't destroyed anything. I hadn't chased revenge. I'd just stopped stepping in to protect people who were rushing to cut me out. That was enough. When someone moves fast to erase you, don't rush to explain. Step back. Look at what they're trying to stop from moving. Sometimes the most powerful response is letting the system they trusted turn on their choice.